Hello, I'm very glad to see you all here. So let's start with our press conference. Today, the United States of America is going through a rough time. There are many factors for this, including COVID-19, which has resulted in many deaths of citizens, as well as the tragic death of George Floyd, an African American who was detained by police officers. The US authorities have made many efforts to contain the infection and to ensure the safety of their citizens during the pandemic, but the situation remains tense. Therefore, all of the required departments are closely monitoring the entire epidemiological situation and are trying fully to control events. Now, all the medical services are on high alert, and all of the country's residents have 24/7 access to personal protection equipment. However, it's worth mentioning that the riots which broke out due to George Floyd's death is one of the factors provoking the development of the virus. The US Centre for Disease Control and Prevention reports that it is closely monitoring the George Floyd protests and the way that they may affect the COVID-19 statistics. Nevertheless, it should be noted that these unauthorized protests and large crowds contribute to the spread of the pandemic and are causing material damage to the country's citizens because of the act of vandalism and worsening civilian environment in the country. It's worth noting that the US authorities and law enforcement agencies have been making every effort to prevent such force majeure events and control the situation to ensure the population's safety, despite all of the destabilizing factors mentioned. We are monitoring the situation in both the country and the world every day, and we are trying to ensure the stable operation of our holdings and the well-being of our partners and shareholders. Nowadays, Watford LLC has been suffering a bit from these difficult circumstances as well. One of the main issues affecting our operation platform is that activists protesting against racial discrimination and arbitrary police actions occupied the City Hall and set up barricades over 6 blocks in the city of Seattle in Washington State and declared that every law enforcement agencies were forbidden to enter. Our servers, located in one of these quarters, were damaged due to the vandals' actions, and therefore the system operations were disrupted. So we had to engage our technical support in order to protect all of the data, resume work on new servers, stabilize the company's data transferring processes, and ensure the most reliable and safe operation, ASAP, without any losses for our partners and our company as a whole. Finally, we succeeded. Now our operation has built on our new facilities in the best secure data centers. No internal information or company data has been lost. Fully fledged functioning will take a certain time and many efforts by our IT specialists, and it will require unforeseen financial expenses. But the reliability and stability of our company are the most important matters for us. And that is why we are trying to efficiently resolve the current issues. As I previously mentioned, we need some time to completely eliminate the consequences of the current incident. Please don't be scared and panic if you see an error, for example, error 500, internal server error on our website. This means our website will not be available for some time, and we're currently engaged in some technical work to fully restore its operation. This is primarily due to testing new equipment and servers and debugging the entire system and setting up the previous configuration. Please note the error number may change, therefore don't worry about that. The only reason for this is our repair work. Our technical work will last until July the 22nd inclusive. These are the required measures to continue our successful operation in the future and provide 24/7 access to our shareholders. It's worth noting the sustainable development of our holdings as a whole, despite some technical issues. We strongly believe that we've chosen the right path for our company's development and thereby making Watford LLC a unique investment asset for our shareholders and significantly contributing to the global environmental protection efforts. Our company showed strong financial results again, which contributed to its market capitalisation growth and total shareholder income, according to the first quarter results of 2020. Our company's share value in 2020 demonstrated steady growth, thereby contributing to the trust level growth of our shareholders and the increase of our numbers worldwide. The total income of Watford LLC holding subsidiaries exceeded what was expected, and therefore we may forecast a progressive growth of our partners' dividends in 2021. Watford LLC has developed and already launched a growth platform for 2020 and 2021, making investment decisions on projects to further modernise the company's development and structure. The company's fast growth rates increase means that we are moving to new planning horizons based on the excellent results and favourable prospects, which is extremely important for our shareholders and partners. We've had to make several changes due to being forced to adapt to the current business environment, including events and press conferences, forced to adapt to business environment, including press conferences, as compliance with security measures and quarantine regimes is the prevailing factor ensuring a safe environment for both our partners and representatives of our company, as well as for all of the employees. It's worth noting that many aspects have required both my personal attention, intervention and participation, but the best decision is to postpone all offline events and personal meetings, especially mass ones, until the epidemiological situation in the world becomes stable. Today we've been forced to adapt and change some of the company's public policies due to the pandemic. But all this is done to protect our health and save lives. Watford LLC cares for both our shareholders' interests and their health as well. Therefore, we have had to take such measures as a lot of other companies have had to do. But we will immediately return to the usual events and public life schedule once the restrictions have been reduced. Be sure to note that Watford LLC's holdings assets are growing and expanding rapidly despite the world crisis. Besides which, the number of those wishing to join us is increasing every day. Huge numbers of people have become new members and entrust us with the management of their finances daily. We are constantly receiving offers of cooperation and partnership from leading companies, all because our people-to-company business model, P2C, has successfully established itself in the international market and is rapidly gaining popularity. Our concept has been implemented within the entire holding work and has shown excellent results. The lack of intermediaries, allowing the building of direct, personalised partnerships, inspires confidence among all the shareholders, guarantees honesty and transparency of transactions, and provides a simple and transparent work scheme. Our business model has given a great chance to create a prestigious and impeccable reputation in investment circles and in the entire international economic market as well. The existence of just 2 transactions links in our scheme greatly facilitates the cooperation process and minimises transaction costs. All interaction processes between the company and client occur directly. Brokers, intermediaries and third-party organisations are absent. A client who contacts us, whether a person or a company, and who has decided to become our partner, conducts all negotiations and affairs only with a Watford LLC representative. This gives a legal guarantee to both sides' interests, safety and reliability, and their client and Watford LLC holdings. I'd like to express my gratitude for each of the partners. Our company highly appreciates the trust and support that you've given us. Therefore, our team consistently works to fulfill the promises given to our shareholders and always ensures the achievement of our strategic goals, thereby proving that the company's outstanding results will mean that long-term success is achieved due to our sustainable business model. The holding's consolidated revenue increased by 37%, while its operating profit doubled. Profit before interest and tax, EBITDA, depreciation increased by 38%. This means that our holdings team is successfully coping with cost management. We have managed to increase our subsidiaries' production volumes and exceeded all of the financial indicator targets, those targets stipulated by our latest programme in order to increase the efficiency. It's worth noting that our unit cost has reduced by 5% compared to the previous reporting period. Such great results allowed the company to continue generating a significant cash flow and pay one of the highest dividends in the industry, while maintaining a conservative financial burden. Further development prospects are the most attractive aspects of our company. Watford LLC has one of the largest potentials for vigorous expansion worldwide, so it is logical to evaluate long-term growth opportunities, and look at how we see our business after 5, 10, 15 years. We are sure our company is able to achieve even more impressive success by focusing its efforts on revealing the full potential of our own unique assets. We have significantly improved our understanding of our resource base, besides which our professional team has increased our number of major projects. Thus, we have managed to strengthen our long-term development plans and the confidence to achieve our goals. Multiple financial regulators, especially in such litigious countries as the United States of America, sometimes deliberately create obstacles for fast-growing companies in order to conduct a thorough company audit. The US Securities and Exchange Commission is one such regulator. Of course, in most cases this is justified and expedient, and we have received questions as to why our holding is not registered with this commission. We at Watford LLC consider registration with the SEC as an administration process which helps to slow down the growth rate rather than checking the company's reporting and performance. Thus, the SEC restricts access to better investments and greater opportunities to protect people from high-risk investments. Massive investments in the best projects are a threat to the richest investors who are not interested in such projects becoming available to ordinary shareholders, since it gives them a chance to obtain investment experience and income. Restricting access to such projects guarantees that everyone's wealth grows proportionally minimally, according to the traditional scheme and the proven cash flow generation algorithm. Watford LLC provides everyone with a chance to become a company shareholder and to improve their lives regardless of income and wealth. Therefore, our analysts and lawyers believe that the SEC may adversely affect the development of some companies and projects, including our holdings, as well as slow down their launch processes. The SEC gives the opportunity to find an excuse to blame everyone. The current regulator systematically uses this in order to file unambiguous lawsuits against certain projects. For example, it's worth noting that lots of successful world companies have been subjected to pressure and have been discredited by this financial regulator. For example, Facebook, a world-famous company which has an excellent reputation, engaged in its own Libra cryptocurrency production and a huge ecosystem creation around it. Consequently, it has been constantly subjected to various bans and lawsuits filed by the SEC. This occurs due to the fact that this ambitious project will involve billions of users worldwide and will not be subject to the state regulators' control. The fight between the SEC and the Canadian messenger Kik is one more well-known confrontation. This app is used by over 300 million users worldwide. This messenger is especially widespread in the United States and has a 10-year history and a huge number of positive reviews. However, the SEC filed a lawsuit against the company due to alleged violation of securities law. Besides those two, the US cryptocurrency company and block developer company, Zoom Technologies, the Chinese company Ethlon Medical Inc., and Brave Tech Solutions Inc., medical companies were all subjected to various penalties and lawsuits. And this list contains many other companies. The US Congress believes that the SEC's actions could adversely affect the country's attractiveness as a technology developed and safe environment for IT businesses. And that entire business, for IT development business and that entire business segment. Despite the fact that this regulator is deemed one of the most respected in the world, its license doesn't resolve all the issues. It turned out in 2011 that MF Global, one of the largest US brokers, eighth in terms of assets, with total assets of $41 billion, had a debt of $39.7 billion. The company's managers failed to properly estimate the investment risks in European debt in securities, considering them absolutely reliable, and took advantage of clients' money from segregated accounts. Then an explosion occurred in MF Global when the crisis erupted in Europe and securities depreciated. The result was the SEC failed to cope with what had happened. So, Watford LLC Holdings considered all the mistakes made by multiple famous companies and decided to switch to another development path in order to avoid all of the legal costs which would interfere with the normal holding functioning. Meanwhile, it's worth noting that all the documents and licenses required for appropriate operation are fully and completely legitimate. Watford LLC Holdings, together with its subsidiaries, annually goes through an independent audit and report and operates in a purely legal manner, which has also been confirmed by Kim Wyman, Washington State Secretary for Registration, on sos.wa.gov. To sum up, it's worth noting that our Watford LLC holding is the guarantor of sustainable development in adverse economic conditions of the current unstable international investment situation. The stock market has been forecast to collapse again in the future, following that seen in February 2020 during the onset of COVID-19 coronavirus infection pandemic. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, S&P 500 and Nasdaq 100 were all corrected on February the 27th, during one of the worst trading weeks since the financial crisis of 2007-8. Over the next weeks, the market became extremely volatile. The rate fluctuated violently, and it was extremely difficult to analyze it. Fluctuations reached 3% or more per day. All three indexes of the New York Stock Exchange fell by over 7%. 7% at once on March 9th. As a result, most world markets reported reductions, mainly in response to the pandemic and the oil price war, which took place in the Middle East. This event became known as Black Monday around the world. It was the worst fall since the Great Recession in 2008. One more fall occurred, called Black Thursday, when stocks across Europe and North America fell by over 9% in 3 days after Black Monday. Wall Street experienced the largest percentage drop in a single day since Black Monday in 1987. And the Borsa Italiana, FTSE MAIB, fell by 17% and was recognised as the worst hit market on Black Thursday. In total, all 3 Wall Street indices fell by over 12%. As a rule, all shareholders seek to sell high-risk investments in favour of safe haven assets in the initial stages. Our holdings also follow this so-called risk-free regime, while being one of such safe havens. Our business model both stimulates the investment environment, thereby involving more partners in our holding, as well as positively affecting the entire economy as a whole, thereby increasing the production and work performance. This is unlike those companies who have experienced explosion growth due to such catalysts as pandemic, mass unrest, and other external factors, because it's worth correctly realising that such sharp growth is always replaced by a backward leap. This happens because, in fact, such companies' share growth was created artificially. Therefore, they may burst like a soap bubble with an over 85% probability as the economic situation stabilises. So we may conclude there is a high probability of the global financial market collapsing, as well as the entire current obsolete business model collapsing as a whole, based on the current indicators, and as well as the overall situation. All companies that are not able to adapt to current business realities are doomed to failure. Therefore, we will expect a fall in the established economic system and a complete restart, given such changes. Watford LLC are fully prepared and adapted for these new working conditions. Our holdings results and plans for 2020 and 2021 confirm that our diversified company will definitely achieve its goals. Sustainable development is facilitated by the fruitful and hard work of all professional members of the Board of Directors and our shareholders' attention and trust. Right, thank you for listening, and let's move on to the question session. So let me ask, does anyone have a question? Laura.
You told us about another company at the last meeting, so where and when will we learn more about it?
Well, we're not striving to create a lot of excitement and publicity around this one. We will be publicly announcing the fifth company's share issue once we're ready to go, and each shareholder will be notified about that. And next question?
Now, there are global issues around the world, and currently our companies are working, but for how long will they continue functioning?
Well, the pandemic started on December the 8th, 2019. Many countries worldwide have closed all industrial companies. People have been staying at home, and lots of them have lost their jobs and the availability to earn money for their families. Then a terrible event, which shocked most of America, happened on June the 6th, 2020. Spontaneous eruptions of outrage are taking place across the country. And in addition to the protesters in every city, America's police have failed to cope with the protests around the country. Cars have been burnt, buildings have been ransacked throughout the country. Watford LLC shareholders have continued getting their dividends and are able to successfully make withdrawals from American system into their own e-wallets. Our ability to work implies the expansion of the boundaries and opportunities. Watford LLC will soon celebrate its first birthday. Each of us decided to join in this strong and reliable holding will witness such a bright moment in our lives. Next question. Gentleman there.
Will this holding company still occupy a leading position in the market?
We can definitely say that our holding will survive a lot of crises, despite such large-scale cataclysms and global issues. The new P2C business model, which works according to the OTC market system, has provided people with stable earnings. Our holding company is steadily following its positions. Next question, please. Gentleman here.
Hello. Is your business model still more stable than exchanges?
Oh yes, absolutely, definitely. The P2C model is much more stable than the old exchange model, which was subject to these fluctuations because of the brokers, artificial courses, and speculators. Next question, please. Gentleman over there.
Hello, Richard. What will be the dividend rate per share in 2021?
It is about 70 to 90% more than the actual one of today. 60% is the minimal profits increase threshold. This applies to all 4 subsidiaries, but not for the new holding company, whose shares will be available soon on the platform for pre-sale. Next question, please. Is it about there?
May we invite you to the shareholders meeting?
I have a very busy schedule. My every minute is scheduled for certain tasks and events for several months in advance. But I'm sure I'll find time to visit a representative office foundation event. Another question?
What are the development prospects for the next 5 years?
Well, as we previously said, we are going to launch the Inwallet card. It's well known that the large-scale events were postponed due to the pandemic, but we hope this can change. And, here, please.
Hello. What will happen when the share stocks are not available anymore?
Well, there will be a closed club in which they will be available. The situation with Warren Buffett's companies, investors, is similar. One share of Berkshire Hathaway cost $40 back in 1976. The price today is almost $300,000. There was much more chance of buying those current shares back in the 1980s than now. This happened because the company has now created a closed club of, well, in that case, millionaires. We may see the same scenario with Watford LLC. Now, each partner is able to buy shares, but soon this will change. People will want to buy the shares once they are all sold, but there will not be so many shares available. Therefore, the demand will increase, and the price per share will increase several times as well. And next one, please. Well, let's try someone over this side, over here.
Will we get our dividends if the Watford LLC website is turned off?
Yes, it's worth noting that the website is just a convenient tool for shareholders. All dividends can be obtained even if the website didn't exist. You just need an agreement and a certificate in order to get the dividends at the head office or an official representative office, which are now available worldwide. Let's go back over here. There's someone quite enthusiastic here.
Hello. As for bank cards, will plastic cards be available? Or will everything only be available online? What will the fee be for withdrawals, and how will it work?
Well, look, as for connecting to MasterCard, the shareholders panel provides the chance of replenishing and withdrawing funds while using MasterCard. I can't inform you for sure about the fees because the contract with MasterCard company has not yet been signed by the corporation's financiers and lawyers dealing with that current issue. Let's try this person here, please.
Hello. Which countries have already got their own representative offices?
The holding representatives are available in 70 countries around the world. We signed an agreement with a regional representative, and thus cooperation with the joint stock company's head provides us with the additional share sales. This business model has met our expectations, and therefore we have created excellent conditions for representative offices to be set up in all countries of the world. Try down here again, please.
With regards to taxation, are we able to get a statement of the taxes paid for submission to our local tax authorities?
Yes, of course. The company is able to provide all documents at the end of the financial year. Yeah. Another one.
Yes, hello. Will other fiat currencies, in addition to the US dollar, be used? Thank you.
No, at the moment, we're not going to add other ones. No, just the US dollar. Everyone who had a question asked it. Hope you're happy with the answers. Thank you for your attention, and hopefully see you again soon, and hopefully at a much bigger conference. So, thank you. Keep in touch with the news on the website, and see you all again soon. Thank you and goodbye.